Hello everyone and welcome to this month's episode of See It Work, the show where you get to see our product live in action. I'm your host Matt, and with me as always is Derek, and today we have a familiar face on set. We have Mike from Tech Tips with Mike T joining us today. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about Derek and Mike's top 3 gift picks from Princess Auto. If this is your first time joining us today, please feel free to ask us a question in the comments section below, and you can be entered to win one of 3 prizes that we're giving away today. We have 2 gift cards that we're giving away. Both are valued at $250 each, and we also have an amazing prize package consisting of some of the products that we're going to be talking about today. So we have a lot to talk about here. Mike, what were the 3 products that you brought in today?
So we're going to talk a little bit about the knife and scissor sharpener. We've got some WD-40 product, and we're going to talk about a snatch block.
Excellent. That sounds great. Before we get into showing and testing off these products, let's look at what could be the easiest gift of them all. All right, we've got the table here, and Mike, let's talk about some of these products. Which one are we going to talk about first here?
Let's go with the knife and scissor sharpener. So we've got a Smith's Built brand knife sharpener. It also does scissors. So it's a belt system, so it doesn't use grinding stones, so it'll help prevent burning your blades. It does come with 3 different grit sandpapers, 600 for the fine, 120 grit for the medium, and 80 grit for the coarse. It has a little quick kind of disconnect here. You just hit the button, push down, your belt comes out. So this is set up to do a 20-degree angle on your knives and a 65-degree angle on your scissors. So a really simple kind of process. You just plug it in. It's 120 volts. Once you've got your blades in, just turn the unit facing you so your belts are all close to you. It has an on-off switch, and basically you just take your knife, turn it on, pull it through. There is a guide that you put your knife up to, and it'll keep that blade in the right degree of angle. And this is a great tool for the shop. If you're a hunter, just to kind of tune up those knives. If you're in the kitchen where you've got different scissors that you might want to keep sharp. We'll try the scissors out here. You're just going to go straight down. Now keep in mind, anytime you are sharpening your scissors, obviously there is the potential of pinch points, so just keep your fingers away from the pinch points, as well as every time you make one pass on one side, you want to do the other to keep them true when they cut.
Very nice. That looks like a pretty sharp unit there. See what I did there?
Yeah.
All right, let's get on to the next product. What else do you got here, Mike?
So the next one is a WD-40 product. So this is their specialist brand. This is a cleaner degreaser. So the beauty about this is it's biodegradable. It's safe to use around your hands and your pets or whatever it is. Obviously you're not cleaning your pets with it, but it is great for shop use. So if it's degreasing metal, maybe you've got a degreaser that you're working with a piece of metal and you want to give it a bit of a spray. When you first get them out of the storage, they are kind of greasy. Basically just a nice clean, and you can see how quickly it takes off the grease. You don't have to let it soak. In fact, it dries fairly quick. It leaves no sticky or any residue. That's what makes it really, really good degreaser. The other thing that you can do with this is if you're at your office, whatever, you've got whiteboards. Whiteboards are inherently hard to clean, and someone may have gone on with permanent marker. And that's really hard to get off whiteboards. We found that this works really well for cleaning those whiteboards. I also use it when I'm out at the RV. Sometimes you get a little bit of mold on the fiberglass of your RV. I did my whole side of my RV, and it took that mold off and shined it really nice. One little tech tip, it wouldn't be a tech tip with Mike T visiting. A little tech tip with Mike T. If you're into fishing and you get that smell of fish on your hands and the slime, I use this around my fish station and it takes that away almost instantly. So it's a great product. The beauty about this is you can buy it in this form. You can also get it in almost a 4-liter big jug, and you can refill this and reuse your spray bottle whenever you need to.
Excellent. That's always good to you to be able to have that refillable option there.
Absolutely.
All right, and the last product here you got.
All right, so this one's a little unconventional from the rest of them, but it's a snatch block. So this unit here is a 20,000 pound snatch block. It's basically used when you're winching or trying to give yourself some aid. It uses a steel wheel, and you can use up to, on this model, 3/8 cable on it. The beauty about it is, unlike a pulley block where you may have pins and cotter pins and roller pins to have to take out to mount onto your cable, all you need to do, slide it open, run your cable through, bring it back together, put your bow shackle or D-shackle in here, connect it to whatever it is you're towing off of or pulling off of, and this will increase your pulling power. It also decreases the effort that the winch needs to work at. So in turn, it actually reduces the heat that the winch is going to build up because of the amperage draw, and it's just more efficient to use snatch blocks, especially if you're not able to pull direct in line. If we have to veer off to the side and anchor to a tree because we have nothing in front of us to winch from, we can use snatch blocks to defer that cable and create anchor points so that we can actually winch in a straight line, just deflecting it from other positions and angles. Great little tool to have in the bag. This one also comes with a grease zerk, so you can grease it up so it won't seize up on you. So that's a really, really neat option on our ProPoint 20,000 pound snatch block.
Excellent, that's great. These are some pretty great products that we have started off here. And for anybody who is just joining us right now, on this episode of See It Work, we are talking about some amazing gift ideas with Derek and Mike. If you do have any questions regarding some of this product we're talking about, please feel free to enter it in our comments section and you can be entered to win one of 3 prizes. So how about we get to some of these questions here? We got a question here from Northern Chris. How many blades can you sharpen before the sanding belts get dull?
Well, that will all depend on how what shape your blades are in. So if you're just trying to take a burr off a blade or a knife or a scissor, you're probably going to get 30, 40, 50 depending on how much you're trying to shave off. Now if the blades are in just need a little bit of touch up, that could be 100 or so.
Okay. We got a question here from Jay Cobbler asking, any issue with a knife that isn't smooth, i.e. like a bread knife?
Yeah, so serrated knives, that'll shred the blades. You'll notice that I did use a serrated knife here, but typically you're only going to the edge of the blade here. It is suggested that you use a straight blade knife through it, but yes, anything that has any serrated edges will shear the belt and you can fray it. That being said, the kit does come with the 3, but you won't see them in our, on our shelves as accessory belts. You will have to phone and custom order them through our parts department.
That makes sense a lot. We got another question here from Kevin Larson. Will it sharpen as well as a soapstone block?
So soapstone, everybody uses different ways of sharpening. Diamond, soapstone, an actual stone itself. It's not the top end of your sharpening skill. This is for people that aren't really sure what angles to keep your blades in. It will put a really nice edge on it. But if you're advanced, definitely you're going to more of the stone functions and the diamond stones with the the jigs and everything that you're going to do on your knives. But it will get the job done. It's a relatively inexpensive product, and if you just want to fine-tune knives, this thing will work perfect.
Excellent. Another question here from Jack Spaley. Is there anything the cleaner is not safe on equipment-wise?
I have not found that yet. I've used it on plastics. I've used it on glass. I've used it on pretty much all material. It doesn't leave any film, and it actually evaporates fairly quick once you've sprayed it on a surface. I have yet to see it react to any sort of materials. So being biodegradable, it's safe for the environment. It's safe around to use on your hands. Like if you want to, you get really greasy hands, yeah, you can go to other products. That's fine. I use this on that, and it cleans up. And I've never had any reactions or seen anybody with any reactions. So I haven't seen it yet.
Awesome. That is great. That's what we like to hear. Another question here from Susan. Is the WD-40 spray product okay to use to help spot clean concrete driveways?
Absolutely. It's for that. In fact, on the instructions it says good for concrete surfaces, floors. So if you're trying to, maybe lift up some oil stains that are on the floor, that works really well. It does work on multi-surfaces. So yes, on porous surfaces as well.
Perfect. We got a message here from Stefan Lafon, first time watching. Hey, great to have you here, Stefan. His question here is the degreaser similar to the brake cleaner cans at Princess Auto?
No. Brake cleaner has some chemicals in there that are, they will do some degreasing and some cleaning, but that's not something that you'd want to be handling all the time. There are some heavy chemical-based components in there. The cleaner degreaser that WD-40 has out is much more gentle to use versus those high-end chemicals.
For sure. All right. Let's move on to some of the questions on the block here. We got Kevin Larson. Is it rated for cable or just rope?
So this unit here is cable. That's kind of typically when you're going with a 20,000 pound snatch block, you're probably going to be using a cable system with it, but you can use with rope. The pulley itself will handle rope, but again, keeping with that 3/8 size. If you get too large, you can pinch it or squeeze it. You'll burn the rope, and then it loses its tensile strength.
All right. Sydney Wood is asking, what is the maximum cable width?
So the cable width on this unit here is 3/8. So the pulley will handle 3/8 up to. So you can go down, but 3/8 cable is the max this unit will actually hold.
All right. And Tony Martin is asking, does the snatch block come in a double pulley?
This unit is just a single pulley. If you want to use double pulleys, there are snatch blocks out there that have double pulleys. This specific unit is only designed for that single pulley pull.
All right. Got another quick question here from Rod on the degreaser here, just asking about the yellow lid on the side. Is that used to refill?
Yes. So instead of having to crank this open all the time, just a nice quick refill. This will have a patch on it to stop it from spilling out, but you want to just undo that. You can pour your big jug in and basically reuse and use. That's the beauty about this product. It does come in different sizes and for multi-use.
Yeah, very convenient. Well, I'll take another question here. Got a really good one from Charles Isherwood. Where did you all get your sweaters? I know for me, I got mine at Warehouse One.
I did too.
Hey, yeah. Look at that.
Mine was a gift.
Oh, that's probably the best way to get a sweater, right? All right, well, we answered some questions on some of Mike's products here, and I think it's time to look at Derek's products. So, Derek, what products did you bring in for us to talk about today?
Yeah, I've got a couple items here on the table, and I've got one that we've got some B-roll footage of. So we're going to look at a 196cc Coleman trail bike. We've got a remote cable hose clamp remover, and we have a 5/16 air-powered flange and punch tool.
Excellent. Those sound great. And I think before we start talking about these products a little bit more and seeing us test them, I think it's time for us to look at possibly even another easier gift idea. All right. Derek, we've got these three products. What's the product that we want to talk about first?
Sure. Well, I think we're going to start talking about the mini bike first. Okay. We've got some B-roll footage of that, as we can see here. So yeah, I've got one of these at home. It's the orange and white model. We've got a gray and black model as well. Lots of fun. 196cc, 6.5 horsepower, 4-stroke engine, running on some premium fuel. No mixing of oil and fuel needed. It's a lot of fun. These guys have front shocks on the front suspension, so you're going over hills and bumps. There's a lot of give there versus the old kind of hard suspension. Mm-hmm. And padded seats, rated for, I believe, 32 kilometers an hour max speed. Of course, that's dependent on the size of the rider. Yeah, lots of fun. Easy start, recoil start. rack on the back, the cargo rack for hauling some stuff out to the bush or to the campsite with you. And yeah, they're just a bunch of fun.
Yeah, it looks a lot of fun. That looks like a very fun unit.
Yep.
I'm definitely hoping I get one for Christmas. So I think I've been pretty good this year. We'll find out.
We'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
All right. What about the next product? What do we want to see next?
Yeah. So I've got here a remote hose clamp removal tool. So this is really nice for a DIYer doing some automotive repair, just to have in the shop, because nowadays they're hiding stuff everywhere on the cars. The hose clamps are hidden behind cowls and radiator enclosures and whatnot. So it's a 24-inch long cable, and it's got a ratcheting head that's controlled by the hand control here, and a release cable there. So basically what you're going to do is, let's say you're trying to work on a radiator and you've got a hose clamp. It's only going to work on a spring style hose clamp. It's not going to work on your standard kind of gear clamp that you'd have, a normal kind of a water hose clamp. Okay. So something like this, you'd put the head on there. Of course, it's a little easier when it's on the hose. I'm going to hold it still here. Live TV. So we'll get that down in there and give it a pull here. And you watch that hose clamp.
Oh, wow.
So it's only grab one ear, but basically it's going to open that hose clamp up and it's going to lock in place. So the locking mechanism on the handle, once we get it geared up here, is going to hold it nice and tight. So you'll be able to slide the clamp off the hose and do your work, pull the rad out, pull the hose back, and it's going to keep that in open position. So you'll be able to slide it back onto the hose in that open position. Just pull it off, put it back on, and then when you're done, you just give it a little bit more tension, hit the release button, and it's off. And if you've got anything, newer cars and trucks you're going to be working on, under dashes, under the hood, it's a really nice tool to have.
Absolutely. That looks like a great tool to have for anybody that's working on their vehicles.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. And the last tool we got here, what is this again?
Yeah. So this is an air-powered punch and flange tool. So we've had something like this on the show before. Now this time of year, folks are doing automotive, restoration. They're doing a little bit of metal work, floor pans, whatnot, old cars and trucks. This is a really nice tool to have. It's 5/16 hole it's going to punch, and at the same time, if you rotate the head, you'd be able to put a flange in. So I'll show you what we've got, some sample metal here, just kind of how it works. So if you're going to be, say, rebuilding a rocker panel or a floor pan or a quarter panel extension, you just get your air hooked up here, and you don't need any special, big fancy compressors. Little tiny compressors will power this tool. Very thrifty on the air. So I'm going to use the flange end. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to get the panel in, set it all the way down in the throat, and just pull the trigger. And it makes a small crimp type of a flange. It's hard to see there. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to run along the edge here, and I'm going to overlap. I'm going to go about 50% over the already the area that I've flanged, and just keep pulling the trigger. And I'll go all the way along the edge, just to kind of mimic if you're putting in an extension panel or something like that. And I'll get back down to the other end here. All right, so basically what it's done is it's ran a flange all the way down. So what you're going to be able to do then, as a second we'll punch some holes in it here, you're going to be able to lay the panel down nice and flat in that seam.
Nice, yeah.
Yep. And then a little bit of seam sealer and whatnot after you're done, and some top coat, some primer, and you're off to the races. So I'll spin the head around. We'll get the punch set up here, and I'll do the same thing. I'll just run along kind of a few spots here. So you're basically ready to apply a spot weld to it, and you lay your panel over the other.
Wow.
Yep. And fill those spot welds up, make sure everything's nice and tight, a little bit of sheet metal clamps or vice grips and whatnot, and you've got a nice strong joint versus a butt joint that you're going to have to be really particular about getting the proper gap so you're not burning through on the thin material with your welder and that kind of thing. So the nice flat surface gives you a little bit more structure for that penetration to kind of grab onto. You're not going to be blowing through the edge of it too easy. Really nice to have if you know somebody who's doing a car or a truck this year, and really nice portable tool, not very expensive. It's a nice option to have in the box.
Absolutely. It looks like a really handy tool to have.
Yeah.
And for anybody who is just joining us right now, we are talking about fantastic gift ideas available at Princess Auto on this month's episode of See It Work. If you do have any questions about this product, please feel free to drop them into the comment section below, and you could be entered to win a prize. We do have 3 prizes today, 2 gift cards, and we also have a prize package featuring some of these amazing items. So I think we should answer some of these questions here about some of the product. So we have a question here from Carmelo asking about the mini bike. What is the maximum weight capacity of that mini bike?
220 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. I'm a little bit over 220 pounds, and I ride one, and I've had no issues with it. Jumps and hills and everything else. Yeah, it's just be smart about what you're doing, and no evil Knievel stuff.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. And we got another great question here from Anna Carr. The mini bike would be perfect for tooting between our house and shop or along the beach. But what's the top speed?
Top speed is about 32 kilometers per hour. Again, depending on, if you're hauling something in the back with you, got a little bit more weight on, bigger rider versus smaller rider, but let's say 30 kilometers an hour is probably a good average speed for it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Another question here on the bike from Northern Chris. Do you sell just the bike, or is it a complete kit with the motor?
We do sell that unit as a whole unit, so there's a little bit of building to do, put the fenders on, put the rear rack on, headlight in place, and put the front forks on. But pretty straightforward, take you about maybe half an hour, 40 minutes to get it all complete. We do have some mini bike kits that come just basically the frame and drivetrain, so you have to add a motor and a few different things there. But yeah, take a look on our website and see what we've got. There's a lot of cool things there.
Yeah, sounds like a great product selection to me, if you ask me. But, we got another one here from Jill Gray. What sizes of tires come on the mini bike, and do we sell them separately?
We can get them as replacements if you have, an accident or, you puncture it, drive over a piece of rebar or something you don't see in the dirt. We do have them as, like I say, replacement parts, but it's only the one size. It's all due to the, the manufacturing size, the space relations, the gearing, whatnot. It's kind of a fixed unit. The other kits we have, they do come with wheels and tires, but you can kind of mock those up a little bit differently. It is a kit, so it's kind of a, DIY situation.
Definitely sounds like a fun project to do with friends or family.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move on to maybe some of the questions on the pliers here.
Sure.
Jax Bailey is asking, do we have a plier that can do bigger sizes of clamps?
No, this is a kind of a fixed size. I'd say the largest clamp you'd be able to get into that range would be maybe just under 2 inches tab to tab. Okay. And then anything below that.
All right. Northern Chris asks, do you offer a hose clamp remover longer than 24 inches?
Currently, no.
No.
Nope.
All right, so it's one size diameter, one size length
That's
on
right.
that cable.
Yep.
All right. Angela Canto asks us, what lengths does the hose clamp come in, and are there multiple options? Well, that's actually just a question we just answered.
Yeah, it's a 24-inch cable, and it's the individual cable on this guy.
All right, that sounds great. We have some other questions coming in on the mini bike, actually. Beth is asking, what's the age recommendation on the mini bike?
I'd safely say, my kids have driven them. I think my youngest was 10 years old or so when he was on it. If they're, able to ride a bike, they could ride one of these things. Of course, helmets, long pants protection if you're going out in the gravel, whatnot kind of thing. I wouldn't be riding in flip-flops and shorts necessarily. Mm-hmm. But if you feel that, the child is, mature enough, let's say, to ride them, I think they'd have a lot of fun. I just would think if it was a little bit younger, you might want to hold them back, maybe try and look for a smaller unit for maybe 6, 7, 8 years old, something like that.
Something a little more safer and stable.
Right.
Yeah, that's always good. We got a question here from Ryan. This one's on the punch and flange. Are there any attachments for this for something like cutting corners?
On this unit, no. So basically, it's doing the two operations. We do have a metalworking kit. It's a large clamp style bench mount, and it has radius corner kits and louver punches and things like that. So it's for more advanced metalworking. There's actually there's a lot of nice options for that. Different jaws available. That's something to look into. That'll be in our metal fab section.
Excellent. Another question here from Angela. What size air compressor do I need to get that air tool running? And does Princess Auto sell that air compressor?
We certainly do. Any air compressor, I'd say over a gallon, you'd be able to operate this. It's very thrifty on air. It doesn't need a lot. Now, if you're going to be using some other air-operated tools, cut-off wheels and things like that, cut-off tools, they're a little bit more thirsty. They require more air, so a larger compressor would kind of be suggested.
Okay, all right. And another question here from Beth. What is the maximum thickness for the flange? And is there certain types of metals you can or cannot use with it?
Typically you're going to be using sheet metal. If it was really thin stainless, you'd probably be able to use that. But in mild steel, I think we're looking at 16 gauge for the flange and I believe 14 gauge for the punch.
Okay, yep. All right. We'll take another question here before we move on. This one's from Susie. For someone who doesn't want to put together the mini bike, is there a service that Princess Auto provides?
If you're lucky enough to get a floor sample that they've built and put out, you'd have to contact your local store. They don't really have that service at all stores, but if there is a team member that might be willing to help you out, if it's a kind of a special situation, we could see what we could do.
Yeah, that sounds great. We're still going to be taking some more questions, so please feel free to send them in. But you know what, guys? We talked about Derek's picks and we talked about Mike's picks, but you know what? I actually brought one of my favorite picks.
What about
And
Matt?
we have some great tools here, but I think we needed something maybe a little more fun. I mean, the mini bike is fun, but
Sure.
I think we have everything that defines fun right here.
All right.
So we got here a Jack Daniel's theme dartboard. I'm a big fan of games, and I also really like myself a glass of Jack Daniel's. So this is a perfect item that I was very happy to find at our store. You can see it comes in a very nice wood box here, very clean. And once we open it up here, you can see this is right out of the box, so it still has the cardboard here. But we got the nice black and white dartboard, very clean and sharp, very different from a lot of other dartboards.
Right.
You also got the dry erase board scoreboards here on the side, so very easy for keeping track. This dartboard does come with a dry erase marker and a dry marker eraser, and it also comes with 2 sets of darts. So, when you want to play with 2 people, you can definitely have your own sets of darts here. And I got to say, this is probably one of those perfect additions for a little bar room, gay room, anything that you have at your house. I think this is a perfect addition to have. And you can't really go wrong with something that looks this cool and this nice.
Absolutely.
I absolutely love it. I'm really looking forward to using this Christmas coming up. All right, so we'll take a few more questions here. If you do have more questions, please feel free to drop them in the comment section. You could be entered to win one of our amazing prizes today. So we have a question here from Heather Fisher. Do we need a license to be able to drive that bike, Derek?
No, you can drive it. Typically you're going to be doing it off-road or on your own property. Any kind of provincial highway, there's regulations, obviously. It's not really able to be licensed as a motor vehicle, so something you'd have to kind of maybe check with your municipality if you're having to maybe cross a road or travel near a roadway. Every region is a little bit different, but ideally it would be for off-road.
Excellent. Yeah. Mike, we got a question here too on the WD-40 here. Oh my gosh, it keeps on running away from me here. All these questions are just coming in a little too fast. David is asking, is the WD-40 degreaser safe to use on automotive paint?
Yes, that's actually, WD-40 has many products. They've developed this to work around your vehicles. Basically, paint, even like very fine surfaces. We've used it on the inside of our RV. We had some issue with within our shower, and there's an edge where the wallpaper that they use in an RV. I needed to kind of clean up some stuff there, and it didn't degrade that wallpaper at all. But definitely it's designed for the automotive person. So anything that you want to clean on your vehicle, it's not going to take the clear coat off. It's not going to leave a film or a residue. It dries quick, and it works really well. Obviously, if you are wiping stuff around a paint surface, you got to make sure that there's no grit or anything, because that could also cause scoring on it. So make sure that it's clean, or use the degreaser where there's areas where there's no grime already there, so that you're not mashing that into your clear coat.
Sure. All right, there's actually a question here for me from Kevin Larson asking about the dartboard. Is the dartboard horsehair or tournament quality? Unfortunately, it is not horsehair or tournament quality. This is a pretty run-of-the-mill kind of pub bar style of dartboard. Still very high quality and still a very nice case and dartboard that comes along with it. But unfortunately, it's just not that tournament grade style of dartboard or with the darts that come along with it. All right, everybody. It looks like it's about time to wrap things up today. I'd like to thank you all for joining us today and being a part of this wonderful holiday edition. We also have picked our 3 winners for these prizes.
All right.
So we'd like to say congratulations to John Butcher, Angela Canto, and Rick Harper. John Butcher here is from YouTube. We have Angela and Rick. They're joining us from Facebook. Congratulations for winning these prizes today. And of course, thank you for joining us today on this show as well. And of course, thank you to everybody for joining us. I know I had a blast looking at all of this stuff, and I hope all of you did as well too. And yeah, we're really looking forward to the next time we can get together. So thank you again for joining us on this month's episode of See It Work, and we'll see you next time. Happy holidays!
Happy holidays.